Hey everyone, this is Buzzrod, and I have a showcase of 10 Steam games with controller support you can play on your Android device. The 10 games we are showcasing are Death Squared, Awaria, Vampire Survivors, Scarlet Tower, Hollow Knight, Drift.Wav, DRACOMATON, Repetendium, Wargroove, and Boneraiser Minions. All of these games were downloaded from Steam and run on a Windows emulator called GameHub that has support for Steam cloud saves. That means you can continue your save games on your Android device. The advantage of this is that your Android phone or gaming handheld is much more portable to play than a Windows laptop or desktop, so you can play these games in bed or outside much easier. And then when you go back onto your desktop and continue with your progress. However, there is a catch. Not every game I tested works on the GameHub emulator. For example, the game Tricky Towers shown here works on my phone with the Snapdragon 870, but it didn't work on my phone with the MediaTek Dimensity chipset. Just to illustrate my point, I found 10 games that worked for me, but I also tried 21 games that didn't work for me. And I really wish some of these did work, such as Stardew Valley or Alice Madness Returns. For all 10 games that I got working, I used these 3 settings. So the first thing you need to do is select the game and go to PC game settings, and on the left there is the Steam tab, and you need to make sure that the Steam version has the number after it. This allows the Steam saves to work, and you also need the auto sync cloud saves to be on. And the other thing is to go to the compatibility tab and select Proton 9 x64-3, and the other thing is to select the CPU translator to be box64 0.37-B1, and after that you can just go and launch the game. The setup I am using to test these games is a USB Type-C controller, namely the Backbone one that connects to my phone, and the Android phone itself has a MediaTek Dimensity 7300 chipset with a Mali G615 GPU and 8 GB of RAM. With Hollow Knight 1 at 720p, we see a range of 35 to 45 FPS, so it's playable. That's when we are walking around, platforming, and doing stuff. We can see around 50 FPS, but that's only if we're just standing still and doing nothing. Up next we have Awaria, which is a free game, and this is made by the same developer that made Helltaker, so it runs quite well. For the most part, it runs between 110 to 120 FPS. It does dip down a bit sometimes, down to 80 when animations come up. So like this, it did dip down to 100 there. And yeah, definitely worth checking out. You play as a mechanic and you avoid these green ghosts that attack you. Another game that runs well is Wargroove at 720p. And this one also reaches 110 to 120 FPS. This is a turn-based war game, so it is set in a medieval setting, and it reminds me of Advance Wars on the Game Boy Advance. And with this sort of game, you don't really need high FPS, but it is nice that it is able to achieve a high frame rate. Vampire Survivors at 720p, I see 50 to 60 FPS. This game, I do expect to have more slowdowns in FPS as the game progresses and there's lots of monsters on the screen. I haven't truly tested that yet because the games do last for like 30 minutes. So hopefully it is above 30 FPS, but yeah, if you have tried this yourself, let me know what FPS you get in the late game. Also, just wanted to quickly mention there is an Android version of this game, which is really good. It's free and there's no forced ads. However, if you are playing this on Steam, you do get to use your Steam cloud save, so you can have your progress on Android as well, and it runs fairly decently. So if you did want to continue that on your Steam account, then this is a great way to do it. Boneraiser Minions is another game that runs fairly well at 720p. I get 50 to 60 FPS. This game is a 2D pixel game similar to Vampire Survivors, where you play as a necromancer and you summon these monsters to help fight for you. Repetendium at 720p, we are getting 30 to 40 FPS in the early stages of the game. So this game is a mix between Vampire Survivors and added mining as well. So you can tell I do like playing a lot of these Vampire Survivor type games. In DRACOMATON at 720p, we see 20 to 30 FPS during combat, and when we are walking around on the map, we do see like 40 to 45. So it's playable, I think, but there's also some sort of glitch in the textures. So as you can see, the background is quite dark, so I'm not sure what's going on there. For Scarlet Tower, I had to drop the resolution down to 480p to get it to run. Unfortunately, this game is unplayable. At the early game right now, we do see 20 to 30 FPS. However, as the game progresses, it slows down to a crawl at about 10 to 15 FPS. So it might have something to do with the RAM as well. I do have 8 gigabytes, but you can see the RAM is like 95% utilization. It's a shame because this is my favorite Vampire Survivors type game, and it's strangely harder to run than it looks. I do actually play this on laptops, and I do notice if it's like an integrated graphics, it does struggle to run on laptops as well. For the game Death Squared at 720p, I found this to be quite unstable at 10 to 30 FPS, so it is pretty much unplayable, quite laggy in my experience. It is a 3D puzzle game that can be played co-op or single player. Unfortunately, I think Mali GPUs have quite poor performance when it comes to 3D games, so I would stick to more 2D games if you do have a Mali GPU. In Drift.Wav, I have it at 720p and the lowest in-game settings. This game is barely playable, I would say. It hovers between 25 to 30 FPS. It is a 3D game. You can try it for yourself and see if you can play it. For me personally, it's alright, but yeah, it's not the best experience. So that concludes the showcase of 10 games that run on Mali GPU devices, and this is using the GameHub emulator, of course. If you do have other games that work on Mali GPU devices, make sure to drop a comment and let other people know. I would like to know myself, actually. But yeah, other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.